This is part 2 video of the 3-part build process video. Now entering one of the key feature also, I'm going to show you how to design the throttle grip, and then I'm going to bit of reviewing the Thrustmaster FA-18C Hornet flight stick, and then Martin Baker MK14. So this is a throttle grip that I have to create it from scratch. Initially, seeing Windwing brand, very beautiful. Some other guy created their own, so we're from metal, aluminum machining. I cannot do that, so I created using 3D models, and I'm going to 3D print this materials. I'm using this knobs from Thingiverse. I don't create myself, but this body and the mechanic inside it is I designed it myself. So it's very difficult work, and I need to create 10 version of it until I satisfied, and at the end I feel it's too big, too fat from the real one. So for this air brake, I'm using on off on with one on temporary switch. The other one is actually permanent toggle switch. So if you push back, it will pull back into the centers, but if you push forward, it will stay there. So it's just real, like real aircraft, or in the Warthog hot test also will do the same thing. And for this radar designator, cursor designator adjustment, rather than putting a 4 position switch, I replaced this with analog joystick mechanic behind it. I buy myself the analog joystick components, and then connect it into analog to the digital converter in the Arduino Leonardo or the Joy as analog axis. So this one is analog axis now, and I adjust the sensitivity to have a slow move and higher response or reactions when you pull it up very far from the centers. So it's very nice setting that you can apply in Joy to make it very smooth experience. So yes, this one is the other one is actually 4 position switch with push on. This one is also 2 position switch with push on. So this one is the finished printed one, and I have to glue this part because it's 2 separate things, and then a lot of putty, to make, and then sanding it to smooth. And this one also for the, you call it the finger lift mechanism. This one is before I finish it. The last video I already show you when it's finished. So yeah, this one has been painted, and you won't see the roughness of this product, right? So it's very hard work in completing this piece. Another thing worth mention is during the build, I was surprised that Thrustmaster actually released an FA-18C flight stick. Rather than using the Warthog flight stick that I also own, I immediately order it because I want to create the more accurate representation of the cockpit. Functionally, I guess it won't change much, but for the sake of accuracy, of course, I just order it immediately. So when it comes, I'm really pleased with the build quality. It's heavy flight stick though, mostly with metal materials versus hard plastic from the other brand. Seen here in the next to it is Warthog flight stick, and I'm attaching the FA-18C flight stick into Warthog base using extension around 15 centimeters. So after measuring it, this extension 50 centimeters is required to create the right flight stick movement realistically, rather than a short stick put in the centers. It will have a different kind of feel and accuracy, I guess. So however, later on the stage, when I already complete everything and I install it and test it into DCS, suddenly my Warthog base just broken. And when I opening it, I just realized that the sensors inside it's actually broken, damaged, and it's becoming useless. the only next available is my Throttle Warbird base. It is very good, very nice, but not for extended stick, because if you put an extended stick on Throttle Warbird base, it will wobble around like crazy, you know, like it's not realistic, and it has a very poor kind of feedback or tactile feedback using it. Well, I'm thinking about buying another one, kind of those things, but it just take me too long and more money. So finally, I sacrificed another expensive, equipment. So I gathered out again the Throttle Warbird inside and added a second spring for the PVC Warbird. So now have a dual spring. So I use the strongest spring and the second strongest spring inside each of the axis of the Throttle Warbird. Unfortunately, I didn't make a photograph of it and just rushed into it and then testing it and then install it, and I forgot to take pictures. So I put two spring for each axis, and I also added a PTFE materials padding pressing into the center moving part of the Warbird axis. So what happens is it create friction, a drag. So when you pull the stick one direction, when you release it, it won't go back so fast and wobble in the center, but it will slowly moving into the centers. That's really realistic, and the feeling of the stick heaviness, and I think the other brand I think have that features where you can adjust the brake. They call it the friction brake, but unfortunately Warbird series or Throttle one flight stick don't have that kind of features at that moment. So I just trying to mod that up and turn out very good. So I am pleased that I'm successfully modified the PVC Warbird or the Throttle Warbird, but it's the enclosure are damaged. I have to cut a hole. Well, I think I render my warranty claim useless basically. So hopefully the metal works, and the sensors I think I saw is very rugged and should be long lasting, I hope. So yeah, so that is the story for this one, including the A-18C flight stick review, quick review, and modification of the Warthog base, the move from Warthog base into Throttle Warbird modded one. So it's very different one. So here is the final setting. In these pictures you see the completed frame, and also I've managed to finish the basic frame of Martin Baker Mk14 ejection seat. And at this stage I'm also learning to sew and created padding using a soft foam and a fabric, a parachute fabric basically I bought. But this one is the first try, so it's really not good. The sewing, the foam padding, I think it's not nice. So in the later stage I have to replace the whole padding with almost latex foam padding, and sewing another cover, which is actually much more beautiful. Here is the first test fit of almost like the stick, the rudder, and the side panels and the seat, so I can see it and try the feel, is it the right size or not. Another angle of it. This one is the front panel cutting plywood, cut plywood just to measure the size of the front panel, but it won't be used. I will discard it when the panel box is created. Okay, so now entering the one of the challenging part also, which is the front panel. For the front panel consisted of several complex panels, including this DDI, UFC, and HUD and center map moving display. That will require certain design. So I designed special PCB, because the version 1 in the Mark 1 VR cockpit I use a prototype PCB, and it's a mess. There's a lot of wire going around, and sometimes it creates problems, because it's not durable enough. Sometimes loose cable make it render, the buttons won't function, everything. So Yeah, so I want to create a very good one with special design PCB. So I have to send this one to China and then produce there cheaply and then send it back to my country. So it takes around a month just for this one to wait this one. Meanwhile, I create I'll do some other works, but this one has been designed that way. So this one you can see multiple parts of DDI, and yeah, this one is for UFC. This one is HUD panels and UHD HUD top box panels. Now this one is you can see clearly this one, the clear part already paint with permanent marker clear green, so it's quite dark, but actually can see through if you put a strong light behind it, like LED backlight lighting later on. So this one is the back panel, the second layer of the third layer actually of the UFC. I think UFC have like 5 or 7 layer, so this one is the topmost layer, and behind it there's a clear painted similarly with this one, green clear permanent marker filler paint. I just don't use an ordinary acrylic. This one is the PCB. Unfortunately, the PCB has several problems. I have put a wrong routing in several lines, which I have to modify, then put another cable, but it's not much, only like for the topmost and the moving map display. I have 5 wrong roads, that I have to fix. For DDI, I think 2 or 3 wrong roads that I have to recabling via external cables. But the UFC one is good, no errors. This one is I have to order 5 pieces each to meet the minimum quantity. So here you can see the DDI finish. This one has not been painted green. Actually, the previous picture is newer than this one. That one has been painted clear green. This one is not. It's still clear, but behind it there is that is being engraved by laser engraving. So this one, the lettering and the lines actually is engraved one, so it's exposed. It's a clear material, so when you shine a light behind it, it will expose the light in this line and the letter, but not in this green opaque colors. So this is how I create the call it a fake radar screen showing up when it's light up. Next, DDI bracket, I have to print it in 3D using 3D filament and then smooth finish with some putty. Here this part will sit on top of here with a screw, L-shaped screw, which is actually set flush into the surface of the acrylic. Next one is UFC housing. Also I have to create it in 3D modeling and printed in filament 3D printer. Because it's complex design, I cannot use acrylics to create this complex design, so I have to create this one from 3D printer and make it smooth and finishing it in black. So, and then on top of this I put my acrylic panels. So this one is for the frequency selection, so the rotary encoder, the push-pull one. Unfortunately, I used the wrong one, so the push-pull one is without the switch, so I cannot imitating the push and pull of this frequency selections. But yeah, so I just put it in pull positions all the time because it doesn't matter. This one is for caution switch and warning light box, so I need to 3D print also, and then on top of it I will put acrylic panels with lights and everything. And this one is DDI lower bracket. It's also fake, but just to show, this one is going to be filled up with the acrylic and engraved with some marking and warning. This one is created separately just for cosmetic purposes. The other one is actually, I also complete the design of ejection handle and also safety handle and then the defog handle. Once it's done, printed and prepared, I move into the front panel box. Actually, as you can see, the box here using 5mm acrylic black materials, it's actually being used for each of the left and right panels also, which I don't show in the process. But yeah, this one is for the front panel. I created the box, and after that I put the materials on top of it. As you can see, you will not see in actual this DDI actually as a module, it's by itself, and this one is a bracket to attach it into the panels. But in this design, you won't see it. You just thought it was a module, but it's actually a very shallow kind of modules. Here the UFC has been set into place, HUD panels, integrated fuel and engine indicators, and this center moving map has not been finished, and even the cover, the base plate 3mm is not yet painted, and this analog instrument is also not yet finished. So this one is just a test fitting. This one show you the thin bezel of the center moving map, so you can only fit the small micro the push button switch here. It's just very small, and the PCB itself, so it's really tight fit. And this is the coarse and heating momentary switch. It will be attached into one base box from this design. So here it's getting better, getting finished. So this one has been finished on the warning. DDI has been installed, HUD, and then the integrated fuel engine indicators and the analogs meter has been completed, including this horizontal. This is a bit delicate. I have to create using a wire painted yellow, just to make it more 3D rather than just a flat pictures. But yeah, I mean, this one is a fake one. Of course, this one is movable. The dial is movable, but I just fix it with some glue behind, so just to ensure it's stay there. What else? I think, yeah, this one is the infrared cooling for the missiles, HMD, and then the anti-stall armament is not yet there. Even the emergency jettison is not there yet. Okay, so now it's completed and installed, except for the center moving map is not yet completed. Even this rudder adjuster is a fake one. I don't make it one because it's not functional anyway, so but the rest of the panel is completed now and test fitted into the cockpit. So here you can see it fits beautifully, but I have a problem later on I'm going to show you. But again, this is finally fitted, finished. I'm happy with it, and I try out the reach from the seat is fine, it's good, everything is okay. Here another angle with brighter light. You can see this warning light there with the cover here already in place. Yeah, so I think everything just fine. There's another angle from different angle. You can see now there is a handle here already installed. I will explain later on, but this one has been painted yellow, black, and screwed into the seat to test fit the whole thing. So at this stage it's around 80% completion, physical things. So I'm very happy with it, and wow, I just never stop looking at it, trying it out. I almost every night after work, and just sit it there and then trying to think what else that I can do better out of this installation. So it's not yet so this panel is actually hanging, you see, just attached to this bar and sit on top of the left and right vertical panels. Okay, so that is the end of part 2 video. With 80% physical completion, the final stage will be focusing on electronic installations and completing the rest of physical features, and of course final beautifications. So see you in the part 3 of the video. You could find the link to part 3 below or back to part 1 below. Okay, see you.